Hey, what is going on, guys and girls? Twintendo here. Hope you're having an awesome day. And today we actually got a new Super Mystery Dungeon trailer, the first one in a long time. And although it's short, we get quite a few new pieces of information, and it's just awesome to see like the game coming together, and it's so close to coming out in Japan, less than a month. So yeah, basically what this trailer is, it's like first half is like live action, so like the previous one we had with all the Pokemon suits and costumes that are really cool. Still want to buy that mudkip one. And the second part is actually just gameplay and a lot of stuff we haven't seen. So although it is 30 seconds, there is quite a bit of information. So yeah, what I'm going to do, guys, is let you watch it, and then I'm going to talk about it in more detail. So enjoy the trailer, guys.
冒険への旅立ち、複雑なダンジョン、信じ合える仲間、敵との遭遇。さあ冒険へ。ポケモンになっちゃった君が仲間と共に世界を救う。シリーズ最大720種類のポケモンが勢ぞろい。任天堂 3DS ポケモン超不思議のダンジョン。
So what did you think of that trailer, guys? Pretty interesting, isn't it? So I'm going to break down and analyse the trailer in more detail. So we're going to start off with the live action part, and Dialga's leg comes down and kind of scares all the Pokemon away. Now, you know, we saw Giratina in the last live action trailer, and we still think Giratina's going to be a boss, and at the end of the trailer, obviously, because see all those kind of legendary Pokemon that seem to be bosses, most of them. So again, Dialga seems to be a boss, but we've also seen Dialga in other trailers talking about, you know, legendary Pokemon turning into stone. So I don't think they're going to be a villain in any kind. I don't know why we have to, you know, verse legendary Pokemon. Maybe they're going to be on guard, you know, because obviously Pokemon are coming after him, or something's coming after him to turn into stone, so they're probably going to be very defensive in this game. And that probably explains why there's going to be so many legendary Pokemon battles. It does look that way anyway, because they seem to be at the end of the dungeon. Anyway, so I'm just saying, Dialga, yeah, it could be a boss, but I still think it's probably going to have a bigger part in the story, as you know, a lot of the legendaries are. I think we're going to have to befriend them and earn their trust, you know, so they can join our team or whatever. It's going to be interesting. So next up we get to see the black cloud, or whatever that is, that's enveloping the earth. Very, very cool. Honestly, don't know what this could be, because obviously we know Pokemon, well, legendary Pokemon are turning into stone. I'm sure other Pokemon are turning into stone as well, so I'm just trying to wonder who could be behind this and what this is. So obviously, you know, for me, it has to be like a dark Pokemon by looking at this. So, you know, there's choices like Darkrai, which I don't think it's going to be, because, you know, already had it as a villain, and it's already seen to be like a boss battle already. Giratina, again, I don't think it's going to be that. You know, we haven't seen Yveltal yet at all. And, you know, it's the 6th generation, and normally the generation the game comes out, that's normally who the, you know, the villain or the bad guy is. So I still think it could be Yveltal, or maybe Zygarde's new form could be behind it. I don't know. Be really interesting to see. Next up we get to see all these like earthquakes and just the land getting absolutely ripped apart. Now I say earthquakes because it reminds me of Blue and Red Rescue Team, when the earth literally gets ripped apart. So for those who have played Blue Red Rescue Team, it kind of reminds me of the part when you're like a refugee and you're running away, and you stop, you know, for a bit with your partner, and you see this kind of crack in the ground, and it just shows, you know, what the like natural disasters are doing to the world. It reminds me of that. So I think they were caused by like earthquakes from Groudon. Honestly, we know Groudon's in the game, Primal Groudon, but will it be caused by Groudon this time? I honestly don't know, and I really doubt it, because I doubt they want to repeat it. But it's interesting to see like literally the world is falling apart. It looks like kind of the apocalypse for Pokemon, so it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, what's behind this. I can't imagine like a normal Pokemon being behind this, so it would be interesting to see whether it is like a legendary Pokemon or not. But anyway, moving on, we get to see Pikachu looking up at the sky in YY Town. Really like the angle of the shot, looks really nice. You get a lot of the town in. And I was just wondering, you know, what is Pikachu looking at? Like, obviously we know legendary Pokemon can fly in the air, and my first thought was, could it be Ho-Oh? Because in the first live action trailer for Super Mystery Dungeon, Pikachu's staring up at Ho-Oh in the sky, and then it gets called over by, I think it's Froakie or someone. So it could be like that. Honestly, you could see Ho-Oh flying over, and Pikachu's just like, oh, what's that Pokemon, or what is that? Because he kind of seems a bit confused. Or he's just looking up at the sky and thinking. We honestly don't know, but it's a good teaser, to be honest, that. I kind of like to see, you know, what is behind that stare from Pikachu. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about something interesting here. So, we get to see 3 starters taking on Skarmory. Now, I think they're using that kind of team combo attack. It seems to be a bit different to Gates to Infinity's version, but the interesting thing is, there's 3 starter Pokemon. So you've got Pikachu, Piplup and Chespin. does that mean we get to see like 3 starter Pokemon earlier on in the game? You know, obviously you have you and your partner, but can we get one earlier on? Because we do think the party size is going to be 3 in this game so far from what we know. Haven't seen 4 yet. So that would be interesting to see if you can recruit another, you know, starter Pokemon really early on. But the thing is, with this, it seems to be they're just kind of showing off the live action team in action in the game, because obviously Chespin was in the live action part, now it's in, you know, the game. And then moving on, we get to see Pikachu, Piplup and Torchic, who was also with the other Pokemon in the live action part. So, you know, honestly, I wouldn't read too much into it. I'd love to see, you know, another starter getting in your team early on, but I just think they're just showing off the live action team in the game. But that's just my opinion, guys. Comment down below, what do you think? Do you think you'll get another starter early on in the game, or do you think you'll have to either wait till post game to kind of recruit them like, you know, you always had to? Or is it just showing off the live action team? Honestly, that's just what I think it is. Anyway, moving on, guys, we get to see Kyogre in what seems to be like Groudon's or Primal Groudon's dungeon, because we've seen that dungeon a lot and it seems to lead to kind of underground. We've seen Primal Groudon before and it looks like, well, it is a boss battle, we know that. So that's going to be interesting to see, you know, do you get Kyogre before Groudon, and, you know, how far in the game is that? It's really interesting to see that. Next up, we get to see Mega Rayquaza. We know that's in the game because it seems to be a boss battle from, you know, previous pictures we've seen. And honestly, it's just going to be crazy that we're going to have to fight something that powerful. Like, Mega Rayquaza, I think it's got the highest stats of any Pokemon in the entire game, so that's going to be a scary boss battle. And we finally get to move on to the most interesting part of the trailer. Now this shows off, it's like 12 panels, but it shows off 14 legendaries, because Reshiram and Zekrom are together and Latios and Latias are together. But, you know, what, I don't really know what that's trying to say, because obviously not all of those are boss battles, because Deoxys, Latias and Latios are flying away, you know, they're not in like a boss battle terrain like the other Pokemon. Now, probably all those other Pokemon we're probably going to have to verse some way down the line, or maybe it's just we have to talk to him. And but the thing is, like, there's like Mega Mewtwo X there. That's going to be so scary to verse that. Obviously, I doubt it would Mega Evolve just to talk to us. So it seems to me that we're going to have to battle a lot of these legendaries. However, I don't think, you know, they're going to be bad Pokemon per se. Like I said, I think they're going to be very defensive, because obviously, you know, something's going on in the Pokemon world. And I also think, you know, we have to earn their trust after beating them, and then they'll join our team and help us throughout the rest of the story. That's just my opinion, but it's really, really cool to see. And it's going to be a tough game by the looks of it. If we're going to have to fight all these legendaries, it's going to be pretty interesting, but pretty tough. So that's pretty much it for this trailer. I know, like I said, it's short, but it's good to see something new again. And yeah, guys, if you haven't subscribed, I've got loads of Super Mystery Dungeon videos coming your way soon. And also, I actually pre-ordered the Japanese version of Super Mystery Dungeon. Hopefully that'll play on my 3DS, because I plan to do, you know, obviously I asked you guys, and you guys, like 90% of you guys wanted me to do an American Let's Play, which is basically just getting the English version or the European version a bit earlier for me. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. However, my 3DS might be able to play the Super Mystery Dungeon Japanese version, so hopefully I'm going to try and do both for you guys, which would be the best of both worlds, to be honest. So I'll keep you guys up to date. In fact, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, this is where, like, I literally post a load of stuff earlier than, you know, on YouTube. And I can't believe I haven't mentioned this earlier, because I've literally had Twitter for forever. But definitely follow us on Twitter if you ever want to be kept up to date with any of our YouTube stuff or any Super Mystery Dungeon info, because there's a few like Twitter exclusive pictures that, you know, the Pokemon company put up. So yeah, definitely follow us if you don't want to miss that. And guys, if you haven't seen our 2 previous videos, they're going to be on screen right now. On the left hand side is 2 OST or soundtracks for Super Mystery Dungeon that have been leaked a bit early. They sound really, really good, so definitely check that video out if you haven't heard those tracks yet. Now on the right hand side, guys, you can see me talk about YY Town in more detail. Basically, YY Town is a big medieval looking town. Really, really cool. It's got a load of stuff going on in there, so definitely check that video out again if you haven't seen that. And that's pretty much it, guys, so I hope you have an awesome day. Like I said, I got loads of content planned for this week and next, so this is the #1 place to be for Super Mystery Dungeon videos. And yeah, have an awesome day, guys, and I will see you on our next video.